What you bang, breedable gang. God damn, I look like I play Fortnite, but we got a banger right now.
Facing a litany of hacking charges across the world, Dylan Wheeler, a kid who'd been hacking since the age of 12, was a fugitive on the run. With a group of teenagers, he had stolen $100 million from Epic Games, Valve, Microsoft, hell, even the US military. And while the other teens were now locked up,
Rewind that, brother.
Valve, Microsoft, hell, even the US military. And while the other teens were now locked up,
The military? How the hell did you steal from the military, bro? Oh, hack, bro. He hacked it.
Dylan had escaped to Poland, but now he was broke. But from a group of guys he had just met, he had heard the security cameras at the local Polish bank were pretty lax, enough to plan a robbery. At 3 a.m., they lined up at the bank with no one in sight. And as they got inside and Dylan shut down the security system, they loaded up their bags with loot and walked out like it never happened. But as they got home to count their stash and dream of what they could buy, they had failed to realize there was a hidden camera in the wall that had seen.
Hidden cameras, bro. Y'all gotta watch out in hotels, bathrooms, bro. Hidden cameras, bro. Hell, bro, I could have a hidden camera on you right now, bro. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know, bro.
It all. And Dylan Wheeler, the infamous kid hacker on the run, was finally caught.
Now, you don't have to hide under your blanket. It's not, you don't have to do that. You don't do that, obviously. I don't have any cameras on you. Probably shouldn't have said that.
What started out as a gang of teenagers hacking
Don't
their
be scared,
Xboxes
it's cool.
to play pirated games for free would spiral down the path of corporate espionage, breaking into the US military, an $18 million FIFA fraud that went unnoticed for years. And it all starts here with the Xbox. Now, people freaked out when the Xbox 360 was released, not because of better games or graphics, but this thing had way better security. Why? Well, because hackers broke the security on the original Xbox, which sprouted a huge community of hackers who modded and exploited and pirated all things Xbox, and Microsoft was pretty pissed. So with the Xbox 360 release, they spent millions of dollars to ensure no one was gonna pirate or mod any game, and actually hailed it as unhackable. And for over 4 years, the Xbox hacking world just could not break the system, meaning no one could make mods for it.
Hell yeah.
Until someone
See,
found
bro, this just adds to the console war, bro. I feel like such a chud saying that, but it really does, bro. Cause look, 40 years unhackable, bro. Y'all PlayStation players be getting random charges to the accounts, to the credit card, like you don't even know.
missing link. At an e-waste recycler, Rowdy was searching for Xbox DVD drives. You know, as a hobby, he'd like to repair them, kind of like a freak. But after an hour of scrounging through the piles of plastic scraps on the floor, his eyes lit up. He had found an Xbox so rare, it actually had no business even being there. The Xbox 360 development kit. Now, this is a huge deal because a dev kit is a special console used to make video games. Microsoft leased them out to developers. So if you're an Xbox hacker, that's what you want. But let me just say, these dev kits are super rare. I mean, you have to provide industry references, resumes, hell, even sign an NDA. And to top it all off, reselling a dev kit is not allowed.
Where am I hearing Lucky from, brother? What kind of... the fuck? Bro, how long has that been playing? Have I been playing this whole video? No way.
But if these are so rare, how did these get here, Vince? Well, the Red Ring of Death.
Microsoft's Red Ring of Doom.
The Red Ring of Death, one of the biggest recalls in Xbox history. And while these were all going to be crushed off, Rowdy gave these dev kits a new home in the hands of some of the most experienced hackers in the Xbox scene.
Chapter 1, let's get it, bro.
As a child prodigy, David Pecora had been programming since he was in diapers. When his parents got him an original Xbox for Christmas, instead of just playing with it like a normal kid, David made mods for it. But now, years later, with this unhackable Xbox 360, all he wanted was a dev kit. Because a regular Xbox you just buy at Walmart only runs signed code, which is approved from Microsoft. But a dev kit? That runs unsigned code, which could be anything David wanted. So when Rowdy hit him up with the dev kit for sale, David took all of the savings from his grandma's birthday checks and he got modding his favorite game, Halo 3. Now through the months as the mod got better, he shared his unpolished Halo mods on HaloMods.com.
Halo's W, bro. There's probably some other better games he could have been playing though.
And people were blown away because this meant David had gotten a development kit, which was impossible to get. And of course, they asked him where did he get it from and how was he doing this? But David was not going to tell him. Quote, "You cannot do it. You won't know how. No one will tell you how. And even with a dev kit, you won't be able to mod. You want a dev kit? Good luck finding one." But Anthony Clark, an 18-year-old gifted programmer, knew David was kind of full of it. I mean, the kid obviously knew where to get a dev kit, so he hits him up with a little deal. Anthony would help polish his Halo 3 mod in exchange for the number of the guy who sold him that dev kit. So it's a deal. The two agree, they get working on the mod, and slowly they become friends, talking about girls in school and programming in their Halo 3 mod. That's when David found something on his dev kit that he had only dreamed of ever finding. PartnerNet. It's where developers test their unreleased games on Xbox Live, meaning there were dozens of unreleased games that they could just play months before anyone else. I mean, for a true gamer, that's the dream. But PartnerNet isn't open to the world. It's only for licensed developers with the dev kit, and in this case, Anthony and David. To them, it felt like,
bro, he was probably playing that, running up the high score. They're hopping back on it, bro. It's like your mom seeing the mileage on the car, bro. Like, who put this high score on here? Like, who played these games? They got him. See?
The secret club that they were in. But when developers noticed their unreleased games being played online, they decided to leave the two a little message the next time they logged on. Winners don't break into PartnerNet. But to Anthony and David, this wasn't a big deal. They were simply just curious about these upcoming games. It was all in the name of fun, right?
Yes, sir.
But outside of stealing games off PartnerNet, the Halo community was amazed with how far their mod had come, although bummed that no one could even use it because, again, no one had a dev kit. But that would all change in 2009. In a presentation that rocked Microsoft, two hackers revealed that the Xbox 360 security had finally been broken, the JTAG exploit. With any simple modification, a regular Xbox 360 can have the abilities of a dev kit to run unsigned code. Or in other words, mods and piracy for everyone. Within days, thousands of people start JTagging their Xboxes, and Microsoft was just freaking out. Because for Anthony and David, potentially now, anyone could use their mods like Infinite Ammo and Super Jump to cheat online. And people pay good money to cheat online. So in a genius move, they sell access to their mod for $100 an hour, and kids line up with Daddy's Amex ready to max it out. The two start raking in about $8,000 a day, all via PayPal. Remember, these are kids making this kind of money. But for David, making this fast cash just didn't do much to him. According to him, money was just never the motivation. Rather, he craved that high of stealing those unreleased games. It was a feeling that he just couldn't even put a price on. But now everything had been stolen off of the PartnerNet, so to get his hands on even more, David invited more hackers into the group now, the Xbox Underground. At PAX 2010, developers were showing off all of their upcoming games, but Justin May, a member of the Underground, was on a mission. You see, his Xbox account had been permabanned. He had emailed and called, but with no response back. And without his gamertag, Justin was a nobody. So, with nothing left to lose, he was going to ask the director of Xbox Live to unban him in person. Yikes. And we have it on video.
I actually came to PAX primarily for this panel. Can you unban my gamer tag, please?
What did you do?
I played Forza 3 early.
I'm sorry, you shouldn't have done that.
However, again, but I want my account.
There are some punishments for which there's sort of no recourse.
Yeah, the plan fails. But Justin wasn't just gonna walk away empty-handed from PAX. The next day at the convention, Justin was stalking the Atomic Games booth. He had saw the golden shrine on the pedestal. A 360 dev kit loaded with their unreleased game. It was a beaut. Atomic had spent over $6 million developing it. And Justin? He was just gonna take it. As they turn around, Justin opens up his laptop, plugs it into the dev kit, but then security starts to walk by, and Justin bolts off. And of course, they chase right after him. But being a true Xbox gamer, he runs out of breath and they tackle him down. So now with tears in his eyes, he told security it was all a big misunderstanding. It was his Wi-Fi not working, and he was connecting to the dev kit to get on the internet. But yeah, the stolen source code was on his laptop. Justin was
damn, that
because
boy's
Atomic
smart.
Games works with the FBI. So now this whole matter, yeah, it'd become a national security issue. Within an hour, they raid his home, confiscate all of his Xboxes, and charge a kid with receiving stolen trade secrets. But then the rumors come out that when Justin was arrested, he was begging the cops that if he was let go, well, he could name hackers higher up than him who stole way more than just one little game. But yeah, the judge didn't really care. Justin would get the death sentence. for a gamer. He got a court order that he was banned from playing his Xbox for 18 months. And now David knew if he was gonna get his hands on more pre-release games,
Bro got grounded by the court, bro. Whoa.
he needed to be a lot quieter about it. Now, with David's growing reputation, opportunities started just coming to him. And Super Day, also known as Dylan Wheeler, brought him the opportunity of a lifetime. I've come across a leaked form database with thousands of login credentials. Several emails belonging to Epic Games employees thought we could work together on this. Super Day. Now, a lot of people reuse their passwords, and hackers know that. Now, it's the biggest reason why leaks like this even happen, because of just reused passwords. Now, several emails in this leak were at epicgames.com. So if just one of those employees reused their password, David could enter Epic Games and steal from one of the biggest video game developers in the world. But this kind of seemed too good to be true, because who really was Dylan? He said he'd been hacking since the age of 12 and that he went to high school in Australia and that he just come out of nowhere with this. I mean, was the kid a Fed? But these logins did work, although the minute they logged into Epic Games, there was another problem. These accounts were just the IT support staff at Epic Games, meaning they couldn't see any of these upcoming projects or games, or as Dylan said, what a waste. They just fix printers and reset passwords. But David's a smart cookie because he thinks, well, we have access to their emails, let's search for the word password in those emails. And that's when they come across the granddaddy of corporate IT fuck-ups. A master password list for every employee at Epic Games, all on a Word document just for anyone to look at. And
That's
all
crazy.
of this.
Why? For what purpose do you need a Word document with the passwords? Nah.
Because one employee reused their password. Okay, so my advice, just check to see if your private information's been leaked in a data breach. And right now, you can check that. Using today's sponsor, days of searching, David finally found what he had been looking for. The Mac Daddy of unreleased games. Gears of War 3. This game had been delayed multiple times. Real gamers were dying to play it. But David just couldn't download it. I mean, even with an encrypted Nigerian VPN, it could obviously be traced back to him. What he needed was a hacked modem. Makes it impossible for anyone to track your down and gives you free internet. And while these are normally impossible to get,
how do I get one of those? What? Free internet?
Member of the underground, Sinet, he had one. At 3 a.m., Sinet downloads the game to a remote server using this hacked modem, but instead of just sending a download link, which again could be tracked, Sinet burns the game onto Blu-rays and he mails them out to the crew. So after all of the hard work and crimes that they had committed, David rips open that package and pops that sucker in, and oh my god, the game sucked. It wasn't even playable. But that's when the fear set in for David. Because if this ever got out that they had hacked into Epic Games, yeah, they were looking at some serious prison time. Yeah, the next day, Gears of War 3 was leaked online, and yeah, it made national news.
Gears of War 3 was leaked on the web. Epic Games warned people that downloading the title may actually melt your system.
Because Epic had spent over $60 million on its production, and Epic promised the public they would find the sick could ever do such a thing. But David just couldn't sleep. I mean, did Epic have any evidence? Were they just gonna pop in and arrest him? And this curiosity drove him into hacking into Epic Games again, where now we found out that the FBI was now involved, but that still doesn't deter David.
If you can't get out of it, bro, get more into it. That might sound sus, bro, but just watch.
David, they continue to stay in Epic's network, knowing that the FBI was in there for months, but just to monitor the investigation. And although David put up a strong front to the others, behind the scenes, the kid was freaking out. But David's problems only grew. His cheating mod business that he had with Anthony Clark, yeah, that was getting railed with the cease and desist letters from Game Studio, so the two shut that business down, but they remained pretty close friends. And while David continued on his war path of stealing unreleased games, well, Anthony Clark, he had found his next business opportunity. Now, in the FIFA video game, you can earn FIFA coins to build out a better team playing against a computer or humans, but these coins cannot be bought. You have to play games to get coins. But Anthony came across websites that sold FIFA coins for cash. Yeah, they were in China and they did look a little sketch, but you could buy the coins with cash. And it got Anthony thinking, what if he made a bot that could automatically play the FIFA game to earn FIFA coins, and then maybe sell them off to these Chinese websites? Genius idea. So as a proof of concept, he spends months developing a tool, and oh boy, it worked way better than he even thought. It could play one whole game against the computer within a second, earning him thousands of coins a minute. With just one Xbox development kit running this tool, it made about Anthony $30. an hour, automatically, 24/7 per machine. But then his first week of wholesaling coins out to China, Anthony had made a couple of grand. And of course, the business grew. He bought dozens of dev kits, racking up the electricity bill at his house. And while David wanted nothing to do with the FIFA coin business, he referred him out more programmers like Nathan LaRoe, Austin Akala to develop the tool even further, and this business grew. But was this even legal?
Hell no, it
Now,
wasn't
after
legal.
a few months of watching every email come through Epic Games, the FBI just stopped emailing their security team because even with the crew still inside of Epic's network, they had no idea who had leaked Gears of War 3. Or in other words, they had gotten away with it. David grew intoxicated by the power he had, leveraging his skills not only for personal gain, but now financial gain. Instead of stealing games for free, he had found a bunch of rich-ass gamers who'd pay him the big bucks to steal games for a business.
Oh, yeah.
This whole hacking thing? Yeah. It was a growing, expanding business. Now, if you ever played Fortnite...
Bro, you know what's crazy is I was just about to say, I wonder if they had this back in Prime Fortnite, like literally 2 seconds before I said this.
You've probably heard of Unreal Engine. Now, it's a tool for game developers to build out the worlds and, some of the biggest video games out there. And wouldn't you know it, Unreal Engine is owned by Epic Games, meaning that master password list for every employee at Epic, yeah, that could be a springboard into hacking into every company in the goddamn world. So with months of meticulous planning, they slipped through the virtual defenses, mainly using reused passwords. They began to break in and steal from every major game developer in the world. Hundreds of companies, thousands of games having total control over their networks, or as David said himself.
Are you have you been listening? I have to the Australian Department of Defense. I have every single big company. Intel, AMD, Nvidia, any game company you can name. Google, Microsoft, Disney, Warner Brothers.
Damn, this was
everything.
But after breaching Microsoft, that's when they stole the secret that had been hidden from the public eye. It was the files for the unreleased Xbox One prototype called the Durango, the source code, the tech specs, all of the assembly instructions for a group of Xbox hackers having the next-gen Xbox documents. Yeah, that's like the craziest thing ever. And they decided they were gonna build a counterfeit of it. Now, it probably sounds insane, but a Durango or Xbox One is just off-the-shelf parts like a computer. So using those documents they stole as a build guide, they put together a counterfeit Durango, and they just stare at it. Because there was no games for it. So Austin Akala thinks, maybe we can sell this, to make some money off of that Microsoft hack. But not on eBay, that would bring way too much heat. So Austin builds out the Durango, and they find a dude in West Africa who pays him $5 grand for this counterfeit Durango. And then all of a sudden, after talking to no one for 2 years, Justin May shows up and he's back in the crew. And he offers...
Is there nice places in Africa? Well, I'm sure there is, but I've never been to Africa, so look. Is it like huts and dirt and tribes or what? I don't know. Someone tell me.
To ship it out because, quote,
I'm not trying to be stereotypical either, bro. I genuinely don't know what anything about Africa.
You can get a good deal on shipping, and the crew lets him. But the Durango would never even arrive because the buyer in West Africa, that was the FBI.
See, bro, how you gonna sell a damn fucking Xbox to a dude that doesn't even have Wi-Fi, bro? You should have given it some research, bro.
Now, Dylan Wheeler was the kid who just always had to be right. And now with the secret knowledge of the Xbox One, he argued all day in the forums about what it would be and what it looked like, but no one believed him. And this pissed off Dylan Wheeler so much. So he ends up leaking all of the stolen documents from Microsoft, and hell, even puts his Twitter handle in it. That'll show him, he thinks. But then behind everyone's backs, that's still not enough. He puts the Durango on eBay. And of course the news picks it up. They got a Durango on eBay. They got the documents all leaked. It's one of Microsoft's biggest leaks in years. And although the crew was freaking out over this attention, Dylan just loved it. He was doing interviews as the Xbox leak kid.
What was the whole purpose of you leaking out information about Durango?
To Microsoft, it was the purpose of this is what can happen if you don't fix these problems. This wasn't malicious.
But it's still not enough. Dylan wants games for his Durango, so he starts hacking into more video game companies by himself to find more upcoming games. But he finds something even better. Zombie Studios has a direct VPN connection to the US military. Maybe they were making a game, he thought. So he gets in the network, and instead of some stupid Xbox game, he finds something even crazier. The training simulator for the AH-64D.
Bro, you know what's crazy about this too, bro? Is when the video started, and I was like, how did he hack into the U.S. Army, bro? I was literally gonna say, did he hack into an Apache helicopter, bro? Swear I was gonna say that.
Apache helicopter. And he thinks, maybe I could sell it to the Arabs. So he commits espionage and steals 500,000 lines of code, and he just could not wait to tell David. I mean, that's the ultimate unreleased game, right? Oh, but David was livid, stating, how the are we even supposed to play this? You're an idiot. The Arabs already have Apache helicopters, so why the would they need a simulator? Get the hell out of here, man. You're done. But Dylan's problems were just only beginning. At the age of 17, Dylan Wheeler had Microsoft investigator Miles Hawks in his living room. Now, he had flown all the way out to Australia just to ask Dylan, how did he get all these Durango documents? And Dylan just tells him everything, that he hacked into Microsoft with a team of experts that he was the leader of, and it was all because he was a curious little boy. But that whole putting the Durango on eBay, that was just a big joke. Lighten up, buddy. So Miles lets him off with a little warning. Stop hacking Microsoft, stop posting Durango stuff on eBay, and we're all good. The next day, Dylan puts the Durango on eBay and Microsoft shuts down the listing, and Bill Gates calls in a little raid from the Australian Popo. They bust in through his house and oh boy, they find evidence of hacking into the US military, hundreds of game developers, and that he had hosted servers with child content on it. Which that detail gets left out a lot. So now Dylan's facing 22 felony charges, waiting trial, out on bail. But it even gets dumber. He doesn't...
See, bro, like, if you're a hacker, bro, at least be a, like, you gotta be a tough hacker, bro. Could you imagine? Like, when he was talking about, oh yeah, hacked into Microsoft, all that, you could sound tough saying you hacked into Microsoft if you weren't fat as hell, or ugly as shit, and, or, like, have greasy ass hair. Like, bro, let's find this dude. You think this dude gets any bitches right here? Where's he at?
And we're all good. The next day, Dylan puts the Durango on.
Come on, bro. You looking like this is a hacker, bro.
On eBay, and Microsoft shuts down the listing, and Bill Gates calls in a little raid from the Australian Popo. They bust in through his house and oh boy, they find evidence of hacking into the US military, hundreds of game developers, and that he had hosted servers with child content on it. Which that detail gets left out a lot. So now Dylan's facing 22 felony charges, waiting trial, out on bail. But it even gets dumber. He does an interview with Kotaku magazine where he just tells the world that he had hacked into every game developer. But it wasn't just to make money. No, it was just because he was a curious little boy. The interview is linked down below and it's pretty funny. Even the reporter doesn't believe him. Oh, and all of that child stuff, again, that wasn't him. That was just the other hackers in the Xbox Underground who had also now been raided by the feds. Except for David. Now, while David's crew was just falling apart, Anthony Clark's business was growing like a startup. Their production increased to 1 million FIFA coins.
Yeah, bro, I'm confused. How does this dude right here have any, like, relevancy to the other dude?
Second, Anthony hired programmers, accountants, attorneys, hell, even formed an LLC. In just 8 months, Anthony made over $7 million. He bought this house, he bought a Mercedes, his coworkers bought Lamborghinis, all from FIFA coins. But the money hadn't come that easy. While at first the FIFA game had no security, they had now added in CAPTCHAs to prevent the bots that they were now using. But again, no problem. They just developed bots to do the CAPTCHAs. But the real question was this even legal? Now, the coins weren't stolen or hacked from FIFA. It was just a bot that played hundreds of games a second, to get FIFA coins that, again, couldn't be bought. I mean, in their own terms of service, it says the coins have no value, mainly for tax reasons. So how could it be fraud? Now, months after the raid of others in the crew, David received the message from Armand the Cyber with an opportunity. Now, Armand had stolen a real Durango from Microsoft's headquarters. He had a family friend that worked there and he cloned his employee badge and just dressed up like a dork and walked in their headquarters and just took it. And he told David it was so easy that he'd be willing to do it again to get David his own Durango, in exchange, of course, for a couple of grand. Now, to me, this guy seems like a total fed, but to David, it seemed like a great idea, so he went through with it. So wearing his Bill Gates deluxe uniform and his fake badge, Armand gets in. Now, he had heard the Durangos were on the 5th floor, but his badge didn't have that security clearance to get him there. So, at America's most technologically advanced company on Earth, he bypasses all of their security by taking the stairs. And he shoves 2 Durangos in his backpack, walks out like nothing.
See, bro, the stairs. This is one thing. The stairs are slept on, bro. You gotta wait a long time for that elevator sometimes, bro. And sometimes it's not even worth it. The stairs, bro.
Ever happened? Bam, bam, bam. Mission accomplished. Yeah, the next week, Armand gets a call from Microsoft headquarters. They wanted him to come down to their offices to have a little chat with them because, Armand had gotten hired there. And that's when he remembered, oh my god, I put in my job application last month. So David's got a Durango, Armand's got a new job, and they lived happily ever. It was actually all a trap to bring Armand to Microsoft's interrogation room. They had it all with cameras. And Armand?
Yeah, bro, that's another crazy thing. All these companies like Target, Microsoft, all them, bro, they have their own like forensics team. Like they got a Target Dexter, a Target Microsoft, or a Microsoft Dexter. They got forensics and investigators, bro, for all of the businesses.
Confesses to everything. Now they tell Armand that Microsoft would not press any charges if he could just bring the Durangos back, or else things would get nasty. Armand calls David, freaking out, saying how would it be if they didn't get these Durangos back? I'll give them all this money. Just send the Durango back, anything. But David just stops picking up his calls because this was Armand's problem, not his. Pulling up to the U.S. border, David and his father told Customs that they were just driving to the U.S. to run a real quick errand. But after just one glance of David's face, they asked him to get out of the car and they put him in handcuffs. And they tell his dad that David would not be coming home for a very long time. For the last 8 months, the FBI had a secret indictment listing David Pecora as the first foreign hacker to be charged criminally in the United States. Why? Stealing over 100...
You might think you're safe, bro. Look, he said, I don't even know how long. He thought he was safe for a fat minute, bro. But they're gonna get you. It's gonna happen, brother. You're gonna get caught up.
$100 million in American trade secrets. Now, along with David was Sinet, Austin Acola, and Nathan LaRoe were all arrested and charged as co-conspirators.
Like, bro, whoa. Holy shit, this dude on the right. Oh my gosh. This is what, just all of them, bro, like, genuinely. At least the dude on the left, like, low-key got potential. Nah, no gay shit, though. Not like, bro.
Now, all four would plead...
Not like that, bro. I'm just saying, like, look at him. He could become a Chad. All these other dudes are...
guilty to stealing over $100 million.
This dude right here. In the blue shirt, or, like, in the... I don't even know. This third guy right here with the... That's bad, dude.
Some trade secrets with Nathan, Sinet, and David all getting prison time, except for Austin Acola. The FBI had found something very interesting on his computer. Now, while Anthony Clark had been David's business partner in the past, he never got caught up into this case. He didn't steal games, he just mined FIFA coins. But when the FBI found evidence on Austin Acola's computer of this FIFA coin mining operation that made millions of dollars, yeah, that's who they went after next. On September 2015, Anthony Clark and his 3 employees who were separate from the crew were raided from the IRS, where they seized over $4 million in assets. Because Anthony's little business, that had made him over $18 million in a couple of years. But the problem...
Bro, the computer can make you a whole lot more money than going to a job, bro. Like, you go to a job for 9 hours a day, bro. You could be grinding on that computer, bro. I'm not even saying, like this dude just found a way, bro. He found he found an opening, bro, and he went for it, bro. There's a lot of ways like that on the computer, swear.
Started when he was withdrawing up to $30,000 a day from his 13 personal bank accounts because those glitched FIFA coins he made, while he did sell them to China and hell even paid his taxes on them, the government said it was all wire fraud. Now, Anthony's 3 partners, who also made millions from this, did a plea deal to give up all of the money they made in exchange for absolutely no jail time. Because, if the FBI brings a case against you, there's a 99% chance that they're gonna win. But Anthony truly felt he was innocent. His attorneys thought they could win a case at trial because, again, these FIFA coins couldn't be bought from EA. He didn't hack in, he didn't steal the coins. So how could you commit wire fraud for something that's free? But when the prosecutor said, if this was not money nor property they were obtaining, then what were they getting paid $16 million for? That's when the jury found Anthony Clark guilty of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. So, pleading innocent to 22 charges, Dylan Wheeler had 48 hours to hand in his passport to the Australian police. But instead, his mom just drives him to the airport and then he hops on a flight and he leaves the country to the Czech Republic. All because Dylan had dual citizenship there and he couldn't be extradited back. He was now a free man. Now, instead of just laying low as a fugitive on the run, Dylan does interviews with the news.
To be honest, it's quite scary that I was able to leave on my Australian passport, because they have a system that they use at border control, find out if you're a criminal, if you're trying to leave the country, and it will flag you. Normally.
Australia would arrest his mom after he said that and even sentence her to 2 years in prison because technically, she was harboring a fugitive when she drove him to the airport. Now Dylan Wheeler's alone in the Czech Republic, his mom's locked up, he's got no money. So he gets a job at a cybersecurity firm, that specializes in banks.
2 years is crazy, bro. She drove him to the airport. That's insane, bro.
Dylan did interviews saying he's a reformed hacker, he's a good boy now.
Bro, my fan been on the entire time. I'm so sorry. I'm not turning it off now.
But a week later, customers at these banks began complaining that hundreds of thousands of dollars were getting transferred onto the debit card of an Australian citizen. Who could that be? Oh, Dylan Wheeler. So the Czech police raid his apartment. Oh, and they find he's counterfeiting money now. So he pleads guilty in the Czech Republic, and then he only gets probation. And then he flees off to England. Now, while in England, he starts his own cybersecurity firm called The Day After Exploit. He's giving interviews, he's doing security conference presentations, but then in October of 2020, his business dissolves, his Twitter shuts down, he deactivates his website. There is not a trace of him past October 2020. So I got a hold of one of Dylan's old co-workers, and they said he had left
he just switched people.
England, was actually living in Poland, but not for what you think. Because there, he had decided to rob a Polish bank with 2 random dudes he just met at a bar. But then the whole thing was caught on hidden camera. So the next day, Dylan Wheeler's arrested, and today, he sits in a Polish prison with a 10-year sentence for robbing a bank.
God damn, boy.
Now, the week before his sentencing out on bail, Anthony was out for his birthday, and he partied so hard with his friends. And after that final round of shots, hugging all of his friends goodbye, Anthony went to bed knowing that his friends and family really did have his back. But sadly, he wouldn't wake up the next day.
Nah. Whoa, I was about to say he's gonna win the case. Whew. He left it on a little cliffhanger there. Try to make it seem like he was like something like eventful was gonna happen. I thought it was gonna be something good, bro.
His mom found him not breathing. The coroner would rule an accidental drug overdose from mixing the Vicodin and the alcohol. There was no note left behind. He never talked about doing this on purpose. It was all an accident. He had so much to offer to the world from such a young age. He was such a talented programmer. And to just see it all be ended like this, it's really a tragic story.
Damn. You put it like that, bro.
But for the others like David, Sinead, and Austin.
He just made FIFA coins. Nah, bro, RIP.
Kala. Today they have thriving careers as programmers, cryptographers, some even have families of their own. And while I did contact them for their side of this story, all of them refused to comment.
W video, swear. Another banger, once again. Y'all stay breedable and have a blessed night.